Motorsport racing is different from all other professional sports because death lurks around every corner as the drivers barrel into neck-breaking speeds of over 175 miles an hour. When the truck driver suddenly loses control of his vehicle and crashes head-on into the solid concrete wall, it erupts into flames. As every second passes by, the driver's life is in the hands of Chief Craig Clark and his track rescue team, who quickly move into action in order to help the driver as he struggles to free himself from the caged Inferno. As Craig and his team head towards the crash, they knowingly put their lives on the line as a motor vehicle on fire can explode without warning.
Be ready, because that lit up from the back. Be ready with a can on the back.
When heading toward a motor vehicle that is on fire, the track rescue team have to stay alert at all times, as flames can suddenly shoot out at distances of 10 feet or more. As soon as they get to the truck, Jason and Sean attack the fire from under the wheel and through the top of the hood. Their special training allows them to put the fire out in a matter of seconds.
Pull your hairpins off.
Only when there's no external signs of fire do they carefully take off the hood of the truck to cool the engine down and to check that the fire is completely out.
You okay?
Nothing else matters on the racetrack when there's a fire. It's an immediate life-threatening situation. We have to get that under control so that the driver will not sustain any injury or any further injury. And that it's necessary to utilize people that are trained to deal with fire. So that's the primary reason we're all firefighters.
Craig and his team have to stay alert at all times as radiators can explode and create deadly missiles. Only when Craig feels that the truck is safe enough to move do the wreckers begin to carefully tow the truck away.
All right. Ease it up.
The front end of the truck is heavily damaged, and flammable liquids are leaking onto the track. That is why the rescue team is always on the lookout for that one spark that could reignite the fire. Once the truck has been safely towed away, Craig stays on the track in order to supervise the cleanup of the debris.
Room crew, when you're done there, I got a pile of oil down here.
While the rest of the rescue team head back to the pits.
I think maybe we had some fuel lines break or something like that under the hood, and it went down on the exhaust, and that's what ignited it. The smack of the wall is what broke the lines, and then from there, it just ignited it from the heat. That was very dangerous, very dangerous. Very dangerous in the fact that we could not get to the driver, and he was still inside of the vehicle. That's a bad situation, because you don't know if he's trapped inside or anything. A lot of people, like you said, don't understand it, but we are trained to do that. When we're needed, we pull together as a team.
We work well as a team because training is very important. We have traditional training being in the fire service. We sort of tweak that to match our specific specialty, which is motorsports. We talk about what we're going to do ahead of time, what everyone's role and position is, such as primary fire, another one is a secondary. The crew supervisor for the truck will usually deal with the driver. Everyone has their specific function, and they work really well together.
One hour after the truck race, the main race of the evening is about to start.
The adrenaline starts cranking up usually right before the green flag drops, because that's the start of the race, and traditionally, right at the start of the race, within the first 2 or 3 laps, there'll undoubtedly be something because all the cars are bunched together, and the potential is there for one guy to bump the other guy and throw him into the wall or spin out and create a bigger hazard for everyone behind them.
Professional stock car drivers are well aware of the life-threatening dangers that each and every race holds, as their job is to direct a 3,400-pound machine around an oval track at speeds that would terrify most people. And that is why they demand that at every event that they race at, there is a well-trained and properly equipped track rescue team.
I believe the track rescue team is the most important thing out here. I know that I've got 2 cars in this race. I wouldn't let either one of them on this track without the rescue teams here. Because in an accident, the first early moments of that accident are critical. And these guys are trained professionals. That's what they do. They work around race cars. You got fire. But their #1 job and #1 goal is to get to that driver as quickly as possible. And these guys are running over 100 miles an hour around this racetrack. So they've got to hope that everybody's got the message to slow down. And I believe they do a really good job of getting that message out. But sure, there's some danger involved. There's no question about it.
50 laps into the race, and the drivers are battling nose to tail around every turn. Their car engines quake beneath their feet like living dragons. The raw power and volume coming from the drivers' cars causes the ground to vibrate throughout the whole of the track. As cars flash by Sean and Jason, Craig observes how well the cars are performing from inside his truck. Even though the sound is so overpowering, louder than any rock concert, Craig knows when there is a problem with one of the car engines, as his hearing is so finely tuned to the frequency that high-performance cars travel at.
We utilize all of our senses on the track to determine if there's a problem. For instance, doing this for many years, you'll know what a hot radiator smells like. You'll know what rear end grease smells like. If a car is leaking oil going around the track, we'll usually smell it before you see it. So we realize, okay, now we need to find out which one it's coming out of, because especially with leaking oil or rear end grease, which is very difficult to clean off the track, it creates a hazard for all the drivers behind that car, because if he puts enough down, they're going to lose traction and go into the wall or crash into each other.
Craig has to stay focused for the whole 200-lap race, as when a crash happens, every second that passes could be the difference between the life and death of one of the drivers or one of his team. As the leaders head into turn 1, at over 100 miles an hour, one of the cars loses control, which results in a violent 5-car pileup. Craig immediately hits the hazard lights on his truck. Unknown to Craig and the rest of his team, there has been a major fuel spill from 2 of the cars. If the fuel finds an ignition source, then they could be heading towards an intense fuel-fed fire. Craig and his team have got to get the drivers out of their cars as quickly as possible. As soon as all the drivers are safe, Craig instructs his team to carefully untangle the wrecked cars.
Yeah, let's try and slide him a little bit this way, we can get him untangled. Yeah, we gotta slide him back enough to get him on the hook right here.
The most dangerous incident I've ever had working track rescue, I would have to say, was we had one vehicle accident. It was up against a high bank in turn 2. Vehicle, as it struck the wall, the fuel cell ruptured. The fire did not start immediately. En route to the location, the car caught on fire. The fire ran all the way to the bottom of the track where the fuel had leaked. So for us to get to the person inside the car, which is our #1 priority, we had to fight fire all the way from where we were to the car. It was a very dangerous situation. Sometimes you forget to worry about yourself. When you got a guy in the car, you're more concerned about him.
The rescue team continues to work against the clock in order to secure the scene of the crash. Their job is both physically and mentally exhausting. Not only do they have to use brute force when untangling the cars, but they also have to have constant alertness as they have to deal with fire, fuel spills, ruptured car parts, as well as oncoming traffic.
Craig, a lot of fuel dumping behind this thing.
Fuel is still being pumped on the track, and therefore the track rescue team are never out of danger until the last cars have been towed off the track. Although none of the drivers were seriously injured, one thing is sure, and that is if the highly skilled track rescue team were not on duty, then there could have been a major fire. Their vast experience and acts of bravery have enabled the drivers to once again walk away unscathed.
With anything that's going on out here, our safety's first. Then we worry about the people in the car. But when we pulled up here, the very first thing that we were concerned about was the oncoming traffic behind them, and then the fuel situation. As tight as those cars were together, if just one of them would have caught on fire, would have ignited all of them. So the fuel situation was the big ticket.
Firemen really came into light, so to speak, after September the 11th, and everyone saw what happened at the Trade Center. And it's no different here. They're definitely immune to fear. When all of us are running out, they're the ones running in.
Even though 30 laps have passed, Jason and Sean are still contemplating how lucky they were to get out of the 5-car pileup without any major casualties.
Did you see all the fuel on the ground?
Yeah, man, that was a pretty rough one right there. Those two cars that were stuck together, that was pretty dangerous right there.
Drivers made it out all right, though.
Yeah, that was the main thing. That, everybody come out alive and safe. Nobody got hurt, but all that fuel on the ground, the oil that was on the ground, the way the cars were wrapped up and stuck together, I didn't think we were going to get them pulled apart without some sparks or something happening.
That's always the hard part of things.
Yeah.
The drivers are closing in on the final 5 laps of the race. That tests both their physical and mental strength. When driving a stock car for over 2 hours, the drivers put their bodies through an enormous amount of stress. The amount of oxygen required in order to finish the race is equivalent to running 15 miles at an 8-minute-per-mile pace. The interior of the stock cars reaches oven temperatures of 170 degrees. The monstrous engines that power these vehicles can heat the floorboards enough to actually scorch the bottom of a driver's feet. Special footwear is required, but their effect can be neutralized when the engine is running hot. Tensions are running high as the leaders are 3.5 miles away from the checkered flag. Suddenly, car 5 is bumped, which causes it to spin out of control and go crashing straight into a wall at over 100 miles an hour.
Responsibility does stop with me for the most part. I have to take account a lot of situations going on at one time, and I have to make split-second decisions that the outcome of could affect everyone on the long-term basis.
As soon as Craig gets to the scene of the crash, he is confronted with one of the most dangerous parts of his job, and that is getting too close to the cars that are still running on the track at over 60 miles an hour. The driver that was spun head-on into the concrete wall is looking for the guilty driver that sent him there.
Make sure you stay over this way, guys.
Craig has to stay alert as he does not know how the oncoming drivers are going to react. If one of them loses control for a split second, Craig could be involved in a deadly accident. Luckily for Craig, the drivers only exchange heated words. Craig then hushes the enraged driver back to his car.
Driver's okay. Considering you used the middle finger, I think he's okay.
As soon as Craig gets back to the wrecked car, Brian spots a fire in the engine.
Right here, right there.
He attacks it quickly to make sure that it does not spread.
All right.
His quick and decisive action has stopped the fire from becoming a deadly hazard for the driver and the rest of his team. As the wreckers begin to carefully tow the car away, the track rescue team heads back to the pits.
Go around and come in.
Your most important thing to watch out for while you're doing stock cars is just traffic. When you're pulling onto a track, when you get off the trucks, when you're walking to a car. And my opinion is fire becomes second, because if you get hit, you can't do your job. So it's definitely that point man. If he doesn't do his job, somebody's gonna get hurt. So traffic is probably number one for me.
As the winning driver celebrates in front of his adoring fans, the track rescue team take a much-needed break, knowing that they have got through another race without any casualties.
Track rescue, any safety personnel, that most certainly are the unsung heroes. And it's very unfortunate because when you get right down to it, they're probably the most important aspect, the most important piece that goes to put on a racing program. And unfortunately, nobody gives them the glory until you do have that bad wreck and they're right up there.
The following morning, Chief Craig Clark is back at Lakeland International Speedway, Florida, in order to oversee the safety for a stunt team who are rehearsing a motor vehicle chase sequence for an upcoming film. As soon as Craig gets to the center of the track, he changes and then goes to see stunt coordinator Mike Bernstein to prep for the day.
Hey, Mike. Wanted to talk about some of the safety procedures what we're going to have on the insert truck.
Okay.
You're going to have everybody secured in either seats or...
Yeah, we've got 3 seats in the back, so everybody's got a 5-point harness.
Okay.
And then the camera guy and the sound guy and the producer or director will have a waist belt and a span set with shackles, and it'll be bolted to the vehicle itself.
Okay.
And nothing is far enough or long enough that they can't fall out.
Sounds good, and we're going to do a chase sequence with several vehicles and a motorcycle.
Yes, we're basically simulating a chase scene for a movie, and Dave Kramer on the motorcycle is going to do what's called a stoppie, and then Ron Fox is coming behind him on another car and do a 180 in front of him. So we're going to be basically filming that, and you're going to be there in case anything happens.
Great. All right, well, let's have a good day and keep everything rolling.
Cool. Thanks,
all right,
man.
appreciate it.
Anytime.
One of Craig's principal responsibilities is to check the truck that the camera crew will be filming from. Meanwhile, the stunt team gets ready for their first practice run.
We do routine maintenance checks, actually check the equipment out. If it's a motorized piece of equipment, we'll start it, run it for a while, get everything warmed up. If there's obvious signs of wear or tear, then we of course replace the equipment. We carry backups and spare equipment, so it's a matter of going through and checking everything that everything's working, so when we get on the scene, we don't have to worry that something's going to malfunction on us. It's necessary to have multiple backups or redundant backups.
Once the stunt team is ready, Craig positions himself in the truck just behind the camera crew. This will enable him to get a clear view of any immediate dangers that may occur. Being a stunt person is a daredevil profession. Only a few people have the nerve and skills to execute a chase sequence without damaging their vehicle or killing themselves. Craig's main concern is that if one of the drivers makes a slight error of judgment, it could cause a multiple car crash. Unlike stock cars, passenger automobiles do not have a built-in roll cage that protects the drivers from a high-impact collision.
There are times they do take some risks. You have to shake your head, but that's the way it goes. That's how you get those ultimate shots and entertain the public.
This is the first time that all of the drivers are performing the stunt choreography as a whole. Timing is of the essence, and there is no room for mistakes. The practice is over. Tomorrow will be just another day of motorsport rescue for Chief Craig Clark. "30 miles from Tampa, Florida, lies East Bay Racetrack, where you will find some of the most dedicated motorsport fans in the world. The track is an oval dirt track a third of a mile long where they run 360 and 410 sprint cars. Sprint cars are purpose-built machines that are fitted with huge wings on their roofs. The wings are designed to create downforce and to provide stability to the car at speed. 20% of downforce is created by the air hitting the top of the wings, which pushes the cars down. The other 80% is produced by low pressure underneath, sucking the wings down. A smooth flow of air is extremely important. If the flow is interrupted or is not clean, it separates from the surface of the wings and most of the downforce is lost. The world of sprint racing is both fast and furious as the drivers hurdle their fire-breathing cars around corners at over 100 miles an hour. The stakes and speed are high, and there is no shortage of danger. Stacy Knight is the safety director who is the first person on the scene when there is a crash.
I think my motivation mostly is being a Christian sometimes and going to church and looking at the things I do at church. It puts a focus on always helping someone else. I've been given guidelines, and I try to apply those guidelines to everything I do in life. And since this is part of my life, I try to apply those guidelines to this also.
Curtis Carter works alongside Stacy. He is an ex-fireman who has been saving lives for the past 20 years.
I put my life on the line, and I risk going out on that racetrack because it's in my blood. I guess the man up above, that's what he put me on this earth for, was to protect people and be there for them in life-threatening situations.
Yeah, his ankle a little bit.
There has to be that leader. And I really think of myself as a leader and taking care of other people and, you know, making sure that they know what's going on.
The anticipation from the crowd is electric as they wait for the first race of the night to begin.
Oh yeah, side by side, green flags up for racing.
Already starting to move, slicing and dicing, going 3 wide into turn 1. Up on the outside comes Houck in the 5. That's a long way around here. He'll lose a couple of spots. Everybody's chasing Bradley in the 51L. He's in command.
Stacy watches the race from the center of the track, analyzing every move the drivers make. He waits patiently, knowing that it is only a matter of time before one of them makes a mistake. A sprint car only needs to clip another car's wheel or enter a corner too hard, and the driver will find himself upside down before he knows he's been in a crash. As the mini sprint drivers head into turn 1, they are battling furiously for the lead. The drivers are throwing their cars around the track like mini tornadoes. As leaders head into turn 4, Corey Spencer's wheel is clipped, which sends his car spinning out of control and head-on into the wall at over 80 miles an hour. Within 15 seconds of Corey hitting the wall, Stacy is already at the scene of the crash. Corey does not seem to be moving, which isn't a good sign. Curtis sees a hole in the traffic and takes a chance of crossing the track. One error of judgment, and he could be killed by the oncoming traffic. Although in pain, Curtis's survival skills kick in immediately as he picks himself up and rushes towards Corey.
He's got serious pain in his knee. I think he got the steering shaft with it.
The terrain is very, very rough out there on the racetrack because the cars cut grooves when they're going around and around the track. Sometimes you get small grooves, sometimes you get big grooves. And we have to watch out for that because sometimes we trip and fall. And when that happens, we don't have that second to lay there, or we can't think about our pain at that time. We have to get up and continue on to get to that driver just as quickly as we can.
What's your first name?
Corey.
Corey? How old are you?
17.
17? All right, let me take your glasses off first.
The first hour after any car crash is commonly referred to as the golden hour. And treating patients during this window of opportunity can prevent 20 to 30% of potential deaths, as well as dramatically reducing hospital stays.
He's got serious pain in his knee. I think he got the steering shaft with it.
Left knee?
Both.
Left knee, right knee?
Both.
Although Curtis is focused on trying to help Corey, he constantly has to be on the lookout for unexpected dangers that could seriously injure them both.
There are hidden dangers that a lot of people really don't see because they don't have the proper training. They don't know what to look for. That radiator has boiling hot water in it. It could reach temperatures of 275 degrees, 300 degrees possibly. The caps on the radiators, they could be jarred loose just a little bit, which could make the radiator explode, which could have the radiator fluid go all over us, which is very hot. It could go all over the driver, and we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that he's safe and we're safe. So we have to take precautions whenever we're working in that type of situation.
Okay, all right. Stay right there just for a second. How do you feel now?
A little better.
Huh?
A little better.
A little better now? Okay, you coming straight out the top?
Yeah.
Okay, take your time. Grab it like that. Grab it like that. All right. We got you.
Easy, there you go, good job.
All right, stay right there. Now how you feel? Huh?
Not as good.
Not as good.
Not as good?
Feel dizzy?
Okay, what they're gonna do is they're gonna sit you on the stretcher and just take you for precautions, okay? Because we wanna make sure everything's all right. All right, take a couple steps backwards, nice and slow. Nice and
Once
slow.
Curtis gets Corey out of the
Have a seat
car,
right there.
he helps the paramedics to transport him to the ambulance.
Okay, ready?
The seriousness of Corey's injuries will not be known until he is thoroughly examined. But one thing is for sure. If Curtis and Stacy did not respond as quickly as they did, then Corey's injuries could have been a lot worse. Before the next race gets underway, Stacy and Curtis take some time out to talk about the hazards they face each night.
Almost everything that's used in a race car is flammable, highly flammable. Even they don't use regular coolant, they regularly use what they call like a water wetter or something. And sometimes that's more flammable, even in the antifreeze. You have rear end grease that's made out of synthetic. When it gets super hot, it's super thin too. If it gets on a hot brake rotor from a car that's been running, it'll catch up on fire too. I mean, even the brake rotors themselves, because they use metallic lining, can get red hot and catch on fire with us. So there's a lot of things that we have to watch out for.
I try to wear safety glasses when I go in to make sure that, we don't get splashed in the face by the methanol, by, the hot oil, and the different other chemicals that are used in the race car.
Get ready for our opening ceremony. Make sure I request
The drivers get into position as the main race of the evening is about to begin. You can feel the adrenaline pumping out of the cars. Glenn Obswicken is one of 2 Canadian drivers. And as with all drivers, Glenn races for the thrill of being on the edge. The thrill of manhandling and controlling his car at maximum speed.
I'll tell you right now, this is fast and furious. Very, very violent. It's like a fight in a hockey game, is the best way to put it. You're on your toes. If you touch, you're out of the ballpark. It's that simple. I do have some fear. I have 2 young kids. I think about it every lap. Every time I go out there, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to break a leg. We hang out together. We do everything together. I just love it. And sure, I'm jeopardizing a possibility of something happening, but I don't know. You got to live it. I really don't know how else to explain it. It's just, it gets you and it holds on to you and it doesn't let you go.
As soon as the race begins, Stacy sternly observes the drivers as they propel their 1,500-pound rocket ships around each corner at speeds of over 100 miles an hour. Stacy can't lose his concentration for 1 second, as there have been several crashes that have nearly cost him his life.
A couple times while I've been doing the rescue, there has been opportunities where there's been extreme danger and something. The accident we had a few years ago in turn 1 where the car backed into the wall and the fuel cell ruptured, and he dropped his whole fuel tank, which was probably 22 gallons at the time, on the track and inside the car. That was a big fire. When you run up on the scene, it seems like fear kind of disappears because you know what your job is, and if you had fear in doing it, you might not do it. So I think the adrenaline takes over and says, those guys are in danger and they need my help. and I'd hate to see anybody to get hurt or burnt in a car.
As the race heats up, every driver is fighting to be the first across the finish line. Driving car number 16 is 24-year-old Erin Crocker, who is one of the only female sprint car drivers on the circuit. Erin has been racing cars since the tender age of 7.
The guys treat me pretty well. You know, you've come out in a new series, and it seems like you have to really earn your respect being a woman. But if you do and they respect your driving, your ability, then they just treat you like another driver.
When Erin comes flying out of turn 3, her wheel is clipped for a split second, which sends her violently crashing into the track wall. Stacy reacts immediately and heads off on his four-wheeler. As soon as he gets to the scene of the crash, Stacy goes over to see if Erin is okay.
You all right, Erin? Can you come out, or you want to wait till we get you over? Going out this way.
Both drivers are A-OK.
As the drivers begin to exchange insults, Curtis spots fuel leaking from one of the driver's cars.
Okay, we got a fuel leak. Let's go.
Assisted by the rest of the track rescue team, he turns the car on all 4 wheels so that the fuel does not make contact with any hot spots from the engine, as this could cause a severe fire in a matter of seconds. Once again, Curtis's expert training and quick thinking has saved the day.
Can you push that forward? Push that forward, and we're gonna get right straight down there.
Last night in turn 4, I had a little bit of an incident. A car got into me, and I ended up turned over. I have to say the safety crew was right there and making sure I was all right. And sometimes I think the safety crew goes unappreciated until it comes to a major situation, which is unfortunate, but it's just one of those things you kind of take for granted and expect it to be there.
Erin, everything looks pretty good.
As soon as the race is over, the adrenaline begins to flow from Stacy and Curtis as they head off home, knowing that in less than 24 hours, their lives will once again be put on the line in order to save those of the drivers. The following morning, the drivers' teams are busy cleaning their fire-breathing, mud-slinging cars. Sprint cars are some of the most powerful types of oval track cars. They weigh about 1,500 pounds and crank out over 500 horsepower. Whilst driver Glenn Opswicken gets ready for his morning practice run, his team prepares his car for the big race later on in the evening. Even though they check every part of the car to make sure that Glenn is sufficiently protected, they know that if he is in a major crash, his life will be in the hands of the track rescue team.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the track rescue team is just, you don't even bother showing up to the track unless you know they have a good safety team, because if you could get upside down, 2, 3 cars, 1 car on fire, and if you only got 1 guy with a fire extinguisher, somebody's going to be seriously injured in it. The safety guys are just totally invaluable. You can't even set a price on it. Their job is, I would say, almost more dangerous than driving one of these cars, because when you're in the car, you have a Butler-built seat, you have your belts, you have your Hans device, you have your restraints. The driver himself has 8 layers of fire suit on. So when somebody coming up from the outside and trying to pull a driver out that's on fire and been crashed, and there's just so many things happening, they're crazy, man. They're even more crazier than drivers as far as I'm concerned.
Glenn actually gets to see both sides of it because he also owns a racetrack, so he has to hire guys that do this. So he's very aware of what needs to be there in place, what training the guys need. So he's very on the ball when it comes to stuff like that. That's usually the first thing he scopes out when he gets to a different racetrack is what kind of safety crew they have.
East Bay's dedicated fans begin to enter the grounds of the racetrack. Stacy takes his daughter Charlene with him to water the track. If the track is too dry, it could tear the driver's tires, which could cause a serious accident. It also gives Stacy time to reflect.
When you do track rescue regular, I don't get
afraid because most of the time you're too busy concerned about the person that's in that car. What kind of help do they need? You're not thinking about yourself at that time. You're thinking about them. Everything goes away from you, goes to them. I want to do what I can for them. If they're on fire, I want to make sure they're put out. If they're hurt, I want to make sure they get the medical attention they need as quick as possible. In the words of Christ, he gave his life for me, and I'm willing to give my life for someone else because I value people's life just as much as he did.
Although Stacy feels a deep need to protect the drivers, he knows that his family is always concerned for his safety.
My daughter probably worries the most about me because she's daddy's little girl, so she probably gets a little worried when that happens, when I get out here, but she knows most of the time that daddy comes out okay.
Stacy's wife, Janet, also works at East Bay Racetrack. Even though she understands that Stacy loves his job, she does have concerns that he could one day be seriously hurt.
Stacy is a very kind, gentle person. He's a fun person. It doesn't take him a lot to get mad. He doesn't do that. He's just a all-around good person as far as outgoing, spontaneous. He's great. When Stacy gets hurt on the track, as far as the pain for him and what happens to him, I'm concerned. I always, asked him if he is hurt or anything, and he will tell you, no, he's not. He might have bruises, he might have cuts. To him, it doesn't concern him, but I always check to make sure that, there's nothing physical, and if it's just minor things, I can handle that. But sometimes, you go to think, well, what if really something happened? And you say, do you need to go to the doctor? And it's like, no, I'm fine. So, as far as that, if he's okay with it, I can deal with it.
As the sun sets over East Bay Racetrack, the drivers get ready to once again wage war in order to be the first to cross the finish line. Driver Glenn Obswicken is getting ready for another breathtaking night of sprint racing. As a racetrack owner, Glenn knows all too well how important the role of the track rescue team is, as an average of 3 sprint drivers die each year.
I've been to tracks where there's junky old rescue trucks. It's not a good feeling.
Stacy and Curtis position themselves as racetrack owner Todd Hutton watches from the press box.
Last night, he'll line up outside row 2.
Inside row number 3 for heat number 1. She's setting history in motion here at East Bay Raceway Park on Wednesday night.
The track rescue job is very dangerous in a situation because you're going to a scene of an accident where somebody's trying to get out of it. So you need to be sure of what you're fixing to do. You got to have a game plan in place on your way to that scene of an accident, and don't put yourself in more danger than needs to be done.
Driver's okay. See, you're still in.
Maybe the rescue team does not actually get the praise or the glory or the money, but each one of the drivers, when they come in, to the speedway, they know that they have somebody to back them up if they get in a bad situation. But some of the fans don't actually understand or maybe know what all goes into training to be a rescue person. So the praise and the glory, they get it from some people behind the scenes.
Once the green flag goes down and the race gets underway, Stacy's adrenaline begins to flow, as he knows that there is going to be some close calls throughout the night. Stacy will have to make some quick and crucial decisions, as when a severe crash takes place, the rest of his team look to him as the one person to have a clear head. Unlike most people, Stacy cannot have a bad day at work, as this could result in the death of one of the drivers or one of his team.
Go ahead, your man. Whoa!
Curtis carefully follows the race as the cars muscle their way around each corner at speeds of over 100 miles an hour. Just when Curtis and Stacy thought they were having a quiet night, car number 35 enters turn 1, but forgets to take his foot off the gas and goes crashing into the wall.
Red, give me a red.
Stacy heads off towards the crash, not knowing that oil and fuel are leaking on the engine of the car. If the crash scene is not secured quickly, then this car wreck could turn into a deadly fire. Once there, Stacy rushes over towards the driver to see if he is okay. Stacy and the rest of his team are now working against the clock as flammable liquids are leaking on the car engine. If one drop of oil finds an ignition source, then the car could go up in flames in a matter of seconds, with the driver still in the car. Assisted by the wreckers, Stacy and Curtis turn the car back on all 4 wheels so that they can get the driver out. Using brute strength, they lift the car and carefully turn it over.
Watch the front up here. Got a lot of oil up here. Watch the front.
Once the car is upright, Curtis asks the driver if he is okay, while Stacy secures the scene of the crash by making sure that there is no more flammable liquid leaking on the engine.
Well, this was a pretty dangerous situation because we did have oil leaking right on the headers, and best to my knowledge, the throttle stuck in this car because he never let off. And we were able to get there, get the car turned back over on all 4 wheels, and secure the hazards.
Once the mangled car is placed on the tow truck, it is taken back to the pits by the wreckers as Stacy and Curtis make their way back to the center of the track. As soon as the race comes to an end, the winning driver is paraded in front of his enthusiastic fans. Although Curtis joins in the festivities, he often feels a deep need to talk to someone about the severe crashes that he has to deal with at the racetrack.
Whenever there are crashes on the track, we have to go out, like I said, and rescue that person. We do it time and time again, over and over and over. It's just in my blood. And I know if I get into a situation where there is some type of death or there's some type of major injury, the first thing I would do is go talk to my nearest chaplain. He's some person that you can go talk to, and you can tell him, you know, how you feel about the situation.
Okay, guys. All right. Hands in, let's go.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go! All right.
3 weeks after Lake Glen International Speedway's last meeting, Craig Clark and his rescue team are once again called into action. They often work a grueling 12-hour day from early in the morning when the drivers begin their practice laps until the end of the last race, which can often be as late as 1 a.m. the following morning.
Our lives are in danger as soon as we come out here because we do more than just the track itself, the pit crews, everything. It doesn't matter any time of the day while we're here, we can get called for anything. So I think our lives are in danger the whole time we're here. I mean, there's no certain time, there's no certain race, anything can happen at any time. The accidents, they happen on all the races. People get hit in pit row all the time, so there's no definite time of risk or anything. We're at risk all the time.
Oval track racing is a form of motorsport that's almost as American as apple pie. There are over 55,000 drivers competing at 500,000 tracks around the United States. Some of the tracks are dirt or clay, and the others are asphalt. The size can range from a quarter-mile oval up to 2.5-mile superspeedway. Stock car racing is arguably the most exciting form of oval track racing. Originally, the term stock car was used to distinguish between race cars that were specially built and designed for racing and regular road cars. NASCAR was created
So now
to
as I play-
regulate stock car racing. One of their requirements was that any car that entered into a race had to be made entirely of parts that were available to the general public through automobile dealers. This was eventually modified primarily in the interest of safety. Modern stock cars are stock in name only, using a body template modeled after currently available automobiles. But the chassis and running gear have almost nothing to do with the original cars. Stock car racing is a highly competitive sport, and as with all motorsports, there are winners and losers, and there is triumph and tragedy. Dale Earnhardt, Tony Roper, Kenny Irwin, and Adam Petty are just a few of the drivers in American motor racing history who lost their lives in recent years. 19-year-old Jay Middleton is one of the hottest young drivers in the U.S. Southeast racing circuit. He has been racing at oval tracks since he was 14 years old. Jay has witnessed many crashes in his short career. Crashes that have killed drivers and a member of the track rescue team.
Earlier in the year at Daytona International, I think there was, during the dash race, the driver got killed. When the guy came out of the pits, he was trying to catch up to the rest of the field, and he got caught by the car. The track rescuers, they don't get a whole lot of praise a lot of times. I think they deserve a little bit more than they get, but they're definitely, their job is more comforting to us, and we sometimes take advantage of it because they're always around. But they do a good job, and they're always out there quick to help us out in time of need.
As the drivers get ready to start the first race of the evening, the track rescue team give each of them the thumbs up. This lets the drivers know that if they are involved in a crash, that they will be there for them. This is not to say that Craig and the rest of his team never get scared.
Yes, I do get scared. I get scared all the time because when we go out there, you don't never know what's going to happen. You know, the only thing we have to protect ourselves is each other.
Once the race gets underway, the drivers push their cars to the limitations of automotive engineering as they head into each turn at over 100 miles an hour. Stock car racing is a psychological challenge. In order to pass the driver in front of you, you often have to travel at speeds in excess of 150 miles an hour next to a concrete wall. One bump from another driver, and there's little you can do but pray the track rescue team get to you as quickly as possible. 20 laps into the race and two cars are running bumper to bumper. Car number 38 suddenly loses control, and they both go crashing into the wall right in front of the track rescue team's truck. Without delay, Craig and his team head towards the crash.
We have fluids on the ground.
If they are hit by one of the oncoming cars, they stand little chance of surviving. They take a chance and head off towards the drivers. As soon as they get to the scene of the crash, the point man slows the traffic down and guides them away from the rest of his team. Once at the scene of the crash, Craig heads straight to the drivers to see what their conditions are. What seems like a small wreck is in fact quite a dangerous situation, as one of the cars is embedded into the wall and is leaking methanol fuel on the track. Methanol is very clear when it burns. If a fire starts, the track rescue team will have little time to get out of harm's way.
Our job at the race track can get very dangerous. We're dealing with high-octane racing fuels. We're dealing with cars traveling at excessive speeds, parts flying everywhere. There are a lot of decisions to make quickly, and again, it falls back on focusing on our job and what we have to do, and you don't look so much at the drama, you look at, you know, what's going on, and this is my job, and if I don't perform my job, someone's going to get seriously hurt or injured, and so you have to sort of smack yourself in the face and focus back on track. But then you don't have time to let the emotions get in the way. You focus on your job. After the incident is usually when things will hit us and we'll stop and reflect and think about it. And then it's like, wow, that was pretty intense. But right in the heat of the matter, you're not thinking about that. You're focused on what you're doing.
To To Craig's relief, his team were able to get the wrecked cars into the pits without any major casualties. As they head back to their truck, the track rescue team have always got to stay alert as traffic is still running on the track at over 40 miles an hour.
Go ahead, Dick.
Once the race is over, Craig and his team begin to pack up and go home. Before they leave, the team come together to talk about what unites them as brothers.
All of us here are firefighters, and you go to work, the same group of guys every day. They're your second family away from home. And I tell my wife I have two families. I'm married to my wife. I'm also married to the fire department and the guys on my crew.
It's an international brotherhood, not just in the United States, but all over the world, that we all understand the risks involved, and you have to be sort of crazy to do what we do, which I told you earlier, but we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't enjoy what we did.
Sure.